peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
With regard to corruption, we will continue to fight. Regardless of what will be said and done, we will fight, and we will fight, and we intend to fight and win. And it is unfortunate that sometimes this is politicized also, but as I said, this is a fight that Kenya must win, because if we can't create not just a fair environment, but a stable environment, it must also then be transparent. So that once you do your business, you know what you need to do, how you're going to do about it. So your business succeeds not on the basis of who you know, but how you do your business. That should be really what all of us should be focused on. Your business should not succeed or fail based on which government is in power. Right? It should be on the basis of the plans and the programs that you have as business people and what your business plan is. And that should be the basis of rating success. And this will happen. This will happen. It will be difficult. It will be noisy. But it will happen. It will happen. It will happen because there's no going back. And this is an agenda I just want to be very, very, very clear about.
To be here today to participate with my brothers and sisters in this very important forum when we are reflecting and thinking about our country. When we are thinking about our country, we are thinking about ourselves, our people at home, and the generations to come. Mine is to assure you that we are doing our best as far as investigations are concerned. But at the same time, we do have quite a number of challenges, though they have not reached a point of dispiriting us, or rather demotivating us. We are trying to say that I wish everybody in this war of corruption may come on board. One thing I can say is, even before we go for some investigations outside there, some of the frustrations which really pull us down is some of the strange orders that we receive. Other than even starting the investigation, we are stopped even before we record a statement from somebody who you know very well are stolen from Kenyans. You know very well, and all Kenyans know, we are pursuing this person, and it's not something we're imagining. We all know. And we cannot lie to ourselves, surely, and everything can show. But we are stopped even before questioning that person. And when we receive some of those orders, like another one which I received just the other day, I was not even at the stage of even pursuing that person whatsoever. Then when the orders came, I read them very well. Do not use the door to go and arrest Mr. Hay. Then I said, okay, why is this preemptive? Then I said, fine, I consulted my regular advisors, they are here. And then I said, no, through my information, there is a window. If I cannot use the door to go and take Mr. Hay, then I'm going to use the window. And once I get through the window, I get a smoking gun, which is killing us. Just smoking, just immediately from murdering us Kenyans. When you steal from us, the hospital money, roads money, development fund for this country, what do you think you are? You are not better than that terrorist you are battering there in the Dusit and other areas. Then, immediately, faithfully carrying our smoking gun, then what happened? We are told, don't even bring this smoking gun here. Don't even touch that person. We are bad. Please listen to me. I have it here. Why don't you give me 10 minutes even to demonstrate I'm not malicious? Surely this is what I have. Then if I am, prove me within these 10 minutes. Nobody is ready to listen to us. What I can say is, Thank you for prayers and support from Kenyans. I know very well that issue of mafia in Italy. It was completely almost replica, the capture of the mafia. The way the war was won and the people's cry, they were wiped and dry their tears. It was through the corrective working and bravery of their police, prosecution, and judiciary. When most of them, they are OMBCD, and then the police said, no, enough is enough. Our people have cried enough. Let's go to fight for our people. In as much some of them were still with the mafia. It was massacre. They said it's okay, let's die, but for the world cause of our people. The prosecution came on board and said, no, equally we hear the cry of our people. Let's join the war. They joined the police, the prosecutors. Then the judiciary came and said, no, then we shall not be left. They came on board. The war was won for their people, ultimately. We can say, equally in Kenya, we can take the cry of our Kenyans and say, this greed, these millions we are stealing every day, stash them in bank, there are papers, we shall read them in this world. Let us say, what is enough for us is what God has given us. And the moment we say collectively, we are going to fight this war together, I can for sure tell you, this country is beautiful, it has plenty for each and every one of us. And I can for sure we shall have peace of mind. And even during our last days when they do come, even that billionaire and all that, he will be smiling, knowing if there is heaven, me, I'm a Christian, I believe there is one. At least then have a space after the one hereafter. So that one is to say, continue supporting us, praying for us. We shall do our level best, and we shall give all that we have for the sake of our motherland. Thank you.
From the word go, the World Health Organization indeed gave us questionable information. Information that could not lead Africa, and especially give Africa the way forward to prepare themselves. That has indeed dented the credibility of the World Health Organization. The credibility is further dented by the advice that came up about the flights that we saw. We are told there's no transmission that could take place from the flights. And later on, they changed that there was a link between the flights, the air travel, and the COVID-19. Today, as Africa looks back 4 months ago, what have we achieved? And what have we done? How many countries in the world are joining the growing list to demand transparency, openness, to demand reasons, to demand answers as to why they were not told about certain steps to be taken?
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for staying with us this morning. The show is The People's Court. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and a very warm welcome to you. The topic that we shall be looking at this morning is the state of the nation of Kenya. We know we're like 24 hours now, 24 months to our next election. How prepared are we? We shall look at the IEBC, the succession politics, and what has been happening in this country, among other issues really that Kenyans are interesting to Kenyans. So this morning, to advance this conversation, Dr. will be joining us from the Political Command Center, Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much. Good morning. Viewers, wherever you are, we take this opportunity to introduce Professor Gerard Onyari, to introduce Karen Joseph from Malindi, to introduce Daniel Colombo Wesonga from the CBD of Nairobi, from the Political Command Center, Professor, good morning, Karen, good morning, and Sin, good morning.
Very well. Thank you so much there. So, Doctor, a lot of things are happening, as I said there earlier, 24 months to our next election. And let's just start with the IEBC as it is right now, being the body that is mandated to take care of our elections. And a lot of things has been happening. And currently, pending before Parliament are the election campaign financing amendment bill, the independent electoral and boundaries bill, and the independent electoral and boundaries amendment bill that seeks to amend section 36 of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Act to guide the redrawing of electoral boundaries. So that has to be in place before we go to our next election. That has not been passed in Parliament, and that has to be done before we go to our next election. And also, as it is right now, we only have 3 commissioners, one of them being the chairperson of Chebukati, Professor Abdi Gulie, and Mr. Boya Molu. And in case one of them gets sick or something happens, they're not able to be part of a process, then that will cripple, because 3 are the bare minimum. So in case something happens to one of them, that will cripple everything there at the IEBC. Doctor, is it about time? IEBC, new commissioners were brought into office, and as we prepare for the next elections?
Miriam, this was long overdue, and I will hit the nail to the coffin. Just remove Chebukati. We don't need to talk more than that. Chebukati is long overdue. Chebukati has lost salt. When salt loses salt, and when salt becomes saltless, it is no longer salt. That's it. The Champlain professor here will tell you, if salt loses salt, is it salt anymore? Chebukati caused us a lot of problems. Chebukati created us a double tragedy. In 2017, the Kenyans paid a heavy price because of Chebukati, because of the mistakes made by the Electoral Commission of Chebukati. What are you waiting for? You are waiting for more deadly mistakes. Then Kenya will lose another 42 to 50 billion. Get him out. If he can't remove, let the MPs cut his size. He is paid the money, he goes home. Have a method, a mechanism. One of the problems that has killed Kenya and why Kenya today still has a problem, and it will have a problem if you don't sort it out, is the elections. You can go to Angel Gabriel and ask, what is the biggest problem of Kenya? He will not tell you poverty. He will tell you elections. So for those who are waiting for more catastrophe to happen to this country, time has come for the president, the parliament, the executive, everybody to even, in fact, let's demolish Mr. Chebukati's office. Bulldozers go there. He's done a bad job. Up to today, he has not opened one server. And you want to give him time again to create us more chaos? One of the sons of Africa told you, and I will repeat, there is no scholar in Africa who can tell you a lie about Kenya. That scholar should have gone to a wrong school, like a Makao Mutua. But for a scholar who has gone to a right school, like a Krigler, told us a full statement. He said, if Kenya ever tried to do an election similar to the election they conducted in 2008, 2007, 2008, the party, the wedding party, will be worse than what they got in that 2008. He said it, that Kenya must never conduct another election until they have reconstituted, until they have changed their electoral mechanisms. What did we do? 2 terms. 2 times we have almost reached the age of the precipice. We have almost played cliffhanger politics. Are we safe this time? I don't think so. One of the problems that causes Kenya to go to ICC is elections. The players are still the same. The monkey is the same. The forest is the same. Why don't you change the forest? So that when the monkeys come, they find a new different situation. Change the forest. The forest is IEBC. The monkeys come to jump on IEBC. Utilize it. Literally speaking. That's what is happening in Kenya. We are waiting for another disaster. We are saying election 2022. Ruto is campaigning in 2022. Murate, who, Atwoli, they are saying 2022. But nobody has claimed. Raila has not said 2022 will start. So don't blame him yet. But now we talk about the people who have said they are interested. I have not heard Raila telling you he's going to stand in 2022. But at least I've heard the deputy president saying he's interested. Wanatutisha hapana. That's the word he used. He will be on the ballot. So those who are seeking to be on the ballot, try as much as possible to clean the electoral systems. If Kenya does not change the electoral mechanism, for example, why do you elect a woman rep, MP, senator with some of the senators have big stomachs, bigger than Matsangas. Yes, they swallow a lot of air. One of them arguing for Kenya, big Kenya, has a long stomach, big. Huh? They swallow money. They are now getting money from the governors to push their agenda. You find them in hotels exchanging money. Yes. You know, your man here does not talk without facts, man. Yeah, they are eating money in this thing of revenue allocation. They have collected money. If you look at the number of telephone calls that have been made to the governors of Mandela, Isiolo, Wanji, Samburu, by senators. If I show you the data, we are done. Nobody will talk about the revenue collection thing tomorrow. Listen to what they are demanding from these governors. Yeah, Wizi. Professor, did you know that? Waizi. This group calling itself Kenya something. Shame. You know the telephones they have been making to the governor of Nano, governor of what? These smaller counties. Look at the traffic of their telephones. Just look. Iko ubaya hapa. So, elections is the most important asset for any country. Elections is something that can make or break a nation. Elections must be conducted freely, fairly, accountability must be there, transparency must be there. So you need a man who is clean like a wool, white like a wool, clean like a cotton, clean like Angel Gabriel, clean, who does not touch people's money, who is not corrupt, who is not biased. And that's my submission.
Thank you. Now, seeing next year will be marked with high-octane politics, and IEBC will also be embarking on a procurement of key electoral materials ahead of 2022 general election. There is concern among electoral experts and observers that time may not be on the IEBC's time. Professor, are we staring at a crisis here?
Miriam, thank you for that pertinent question in terms of IEBC. You know, election is not a one-day event. Election is a process. And one of the things which brought peace and tranquility to this country through the handshake is that the president and the prime minister agreed that they have to fix the electoral commission. And it is in the BPI, and time is running pretty fast. And if we go by the advice of Kreger, he said that you should not be able to change the commission 2 years into the office. So the sooner the members of parliament moves very fast, they enact the bills before the House, and then we send the current commissioners in the office, because election being a process and being the people who presides, the arbiters, the referees, must be accepted by both parties. So if we don't move to Chebukai's team, 2022 will be an emotive year, and it may interfere with the peace we have agreed. So being the item which was identified by the handshake team, it is very important that we do something to the current commission by sending them home, so that we constitute the commission which is acceptable to all parties who are going to participate in 2022 general election.
All right, very well, Karen. The IEBC, as it is currently constituted, 3 commissioners, that is the minimal requirement. But should one of them, not be present or something happens, they're just absent, that means that, functions of IEBC will be crippled. Are we staring at a possible danger in the future if IEBC and the new constitution of new commissioners and all that, they don't even have a CEO. He was removed there. So are we staring at a constitutional crisis in the near future?
Yes, Miriam, we are, because this is life, and with life, anything can happen at any time. Even that which we don't expect can happen. So yes, it can happen, and it would put us at a very bad position, because these are all we have right now. I mentioned that the CEO was removed. Then I see it happening, and it will affect us immensely, Miriam.
All right, Daniel, according to Ndungo Wainana, the Executive Director of the International Center for Policy and Conflict, this is what he told the nation, that IEBC should be reformed to restore public confidence, credibility, and integrity. The problem is not the constitution, but how the IEBC Act and recruitment of personnel is designed, which allows gross political interference, because politicians or the political class are also they submit some of the names of the people who will be part of form the commissioners at the IEBC. So from what Mr. Ndungu is saying here, is that a debate that holds water?
Thank you, Miriam, for the question. And I would like to put it unequivocally clear that IEBC has really failed Kenyans. And as Dr. Matsanga said, the 2017 election was a sham because Chebukati's negligence, ineptitude, and how lethargic demeanor that he has as the chairman of the IEBC. You understand that the first presidential election, was annulled due to the errors that were done by the IEBC officials. You could find a returning officer who could not even sign the Form 34A and Bs, showing such kind of negligence in their duties. And that is something that should be checked. It only shows that IEBC is constituted of officials who are not up to the task and are not ready to do a very watertight election. And number two, we have had a situation where IEBC has been accused of sharing signatures with other political entities like Third Way Alliance in their quest to change the constitution. So, all these derails the public confidence in the IEBC, and as it is right now constituted under Wafula Chebukati, surely speaking, Miriam, we need reforms in the IEBC, and the only reforms that we need is, first of all, starting by sending Chebukati and his entire team home, so that we can be able to bring a very diligent, a very efficient, and a very committed team of experts in the realm of our electoral body before we head into 2022 elections. And of course, in these on this television, it has been our long-standing opinion that we cannot go to the election in 2022 before we can reconstitute IEBC, because the issue of Kenya, the problem of Kenyan long-standing peace has been the elections. So without reconstituting IEBC, we can never have credible election. And without credible elections, we can never have peace and unity in this country.
Dr. IEBC, as it is currently constituted, has it lost credibility, led by its chairperson?
There's nothing. No, what credibility? There's no credibility. What credibility? IEBC that sells signatures. Which credibility? Didn't we do a show here that indicated to the world how IEBC was planning to sell signatures to a certain political group, to say that they have been collecting signatures under COVID-19? We blew it up, and Ekuro Court has never brought those signatures anymore. We have videos of IEBC officials meeting a political party at night. That's why they cannot go to court, because once these videos are played, the whole world will know who they are. There's no IEBC. It should go like now. It should go. IEBC should leave. That is all I can say.
All right, and even as we look at the IEBC, now we have another problem that we have to keep talking about, because senators have been unable to agree and vote on the revenue sharing formula there. So it is something that Kenyans are looking at. And even with this, this grandstanding there, we see now thousands of county staff yet to get July, June salaries, because it depends on this agreement, so that revenue can be sent into the counties. Even as we wait for them to come and have this vote, is it tomorrow? I don't know, what are your expectations, Professor? Are we expecting they will postpone it, or they will finally be able to majority agree on a way forward?
Miriam, good for that question. The senators have read the people of this country, have read the counties down, because they have failed to do their work. The formula which was represented to them by the Commission for Revenue Allocation was subjected to public participation. They corrected the views, they corrected the views, they came up with the formula, they represented it to Parliament. Anything outside that, which will not be subjected to public participation, it will be something illegal. So what the senators have to do, they have no choice but to go to Parliament, to go to the Senate, debate on the formula which has been presented on them, let the majority have their way, let the majority have their say. That's how democracy works. I don't know why they are kept on, you postpone, you go and seek what? No. Go to the floor of the House, be able to convince your fellow senators on why we should retain the old formula, or why we should take this one forward. There is no another way. It is simply we have seen their level of debate at the level at Parliament is wanting. So all this, the way they are trying to take us in cycles is totally unacceptable. Then tomorrow, when they convene in the House, let them debate the motion, let them amend if they can amend, take a vote, and the country moves forward.
Right. So, of course, the majority.
Let me come in here.
Yes.
Medium. All of you open chapter 12 of the finance allocation chapter of the Constitution, isn't it? What does it say? Whom does it give the authority? Okay, it gives the authority to the CRA.
Correct.
Formulate ideas. The senators have, if they have a quarrel with that chapter, they should go to where? They should go to court and change it. First, the Senator of Nairobi, Johnson Sakaja, is a passionate liar, a sweet liar.
Pathological liar.
Yes, who the senator told so many things that don't catch each other. That no country should lose a shilling, no county should lose a shilling of its allocations, and that we should use the 2019-2020 allocations. That's Senator Sakaja. Essentially, what Senator Sakaja, so-called senator of Nairobi, was recommending that the current formula of the frozen 321 billion counter share and the new CRA formula be applied on an amount exceeding last year's financial year tranche. Sakaja's suggestions are not only arbitrary. Whom did he consult? Whom did Sakaja consult? Any change of the formula, it needs public participation.
Correct.
I'm a lawyer. I studied international law, but I can fix you. The only grade I don't want is to come to grade myself with the Wamutata. Because Wamutata was my pecky boy. Yeah. He was the one supplying documents for me. I put Wamutata on the plane for the first time to fly out of this country. So I cannot go and fight with him in the court up there. If I were a Kenyan, I would have already stopped this senator, even to say, and the counties can have the money. I don't know why Kenyans are not doing that. Stop them. Go to court. Stop them. He's a liar. You cannot usurp the powers of CRA.
A constitutional body.
And then claim to be Kenya Moja, one Kenya. Stupid. Have you seen that? Let's go. He's suggesting that the principles of equity inferred in Article 203/1 of the Constitution, which lists the criteria that should be taken into account in determining equitable shares, including efficiency principle, which is about how people use the resources. Where? How do you use the resources. Do you use the resources to feed monkeys or baboons? You use the resources to feed Mr. Professor Champlain. If there is a zoo in your place, in your landmass, you give the Department of Botany and Zoology some money, but you don't give to the baboons in the zoo the money to eat. Miriam, that's the best. Why Article 230 was put in the Constitution, 203 was put in the Constitution. Sakaja is not patriotic. I don't know which country he is supporting, but I don't want to go that beyond that level. But he's not patriotic. He's not patriotic in the sense that he's misleading. He's trying to create bad governance and plunging the country into perpetual loop of rewarding recklessness. Recklessness. Musikie, yoyo. Leo iko moto. Today it has started this early. I swear if I was an NGO, I would fall in the river tonight. Because what is coming today is fire. Recklessness. Then Sakaja goes around to show us recklessness, claiming to be more patriotic to the people he did not consult to change the formula. Our reading, therefore, of Sakaja's suboptimal action is he's using the debate to redeem himself of his recent drunkenness of drinking. Wacha tugongane hapa.
Right.
Have you ever heard of, no wait Miriam, have you ever heard of a saying that when you are cheated from the market, you go on the road complaining? How many of you are African poetry readers? I am one. And I believe Wesonga is number 2. And the professor. Mama teacher, how? Yes. Miriam, yes, of course. You read African poetry. When you are cheated in the market, complain from the market. Don't go on the route towards Siaya, home area, before you reach your gate. Then unaanza kusema, hiyo mtu aliniiba, hiyo mtu aliniiba. By the time you go back to the market, the rain has come. Have you seen how markets in the rural areas close? The markets in the rural area have no time. They close according to the skies. Public markets, they are very interesting, by the way. When you buy food from the public market compared to the market city something here, very dirty. Somewhere marikiti. What is it, marikiti? Is it marikiti or mikriti? What is this? Very dirty. That's why Nairobi is reproducing. Dirty. We have carried that. Tunabeba magari zote na huu ni corona. Kutoka nje, mnamwaga corona Nairobi. Why can't we give a public ministry of health? You know, we are talking about the state of the nation. Why can't Nairobi County install a big toll, where cars pass underwater? By now, countries, do you know how many countries have drilled water and the cars just pass through? Have you seen that in Britain? It is being done. You drive through your car, all those tires, Corona is finished. Now you are crying every day, Kenyans, oh, Corona, Corona, Corona iko hapa Marikitini. What is this market down here?
Marikiti.
Production is here.
Mm-hmm.
Production is in Jikomba. Production is in Shaurimoyo. Production is in, yes, we are producing Corona here. That's why Nairobi has become the epicenter. And then the governor goes to waste money, which you would have brought to tell the industrial area, one factory to manufacture a sprayer that when you touch it like this, it sprays the cars it passes. By the time the car arrives in Nairobi, the tires are clean. Do you know where we are getting Corona? All those cars that are coming, there's traffic. But they are not clean. The people selling us, hawkers selling us items, those hands are not clean. Jamen, ufikirie. Hiyo Sakaja anatuiba. He has not publicly consulted the people of Kenya to change the formula. We want to forget the law-breaking Sakaja, senor. So he has to cover under Kenya M. Another second misleading political priest is the Senator of Elengoya Marakwet, Kipchumba Murkomen, who's using a false doctrine of dividing people. The senator told us that there was no landslide in Elengoya Marakwet. So even if the dam money of Emerald and Kimiruel was stolen by his cohorts, the landslide will not come. God defied him. Hey, now wacha hapo kadogo. That is the small, that priest. So I surrender back my time to Karen or Professor or Daniel, whoever you love. There is a priest called Senator Murkomen who quotes the Bible every morning, but he does a different thing. There is no road to his own house. Mtu ana hata barabara. The vehicles have to be left and he works on foot. Then he doesn't want money to go to Elengoya Marakwet. I don't know why Kenyan voters like it, tribalism. They would vote this one like it tonight. Back to you, Miriam.
All right, and you brought up again, this advertisement by Nairobi Governor. We shall look at it later. There's some issues here and some things he's saying he did, and maybe at the end of the show we might just go back there and see what really is the truth there. But still on this revenue allocation formula, before we move into another item, Kangata says we are banning the midnight oil to ensure that solution that is good for the country is on the table on Tuesday, that is tomorrow. And meanwhile, Chama cha Mashinani leader Isaac Ruto yesterday threw his weight behind the population as key to sharing resources. And this is what he said. We are surprised by senators who oppose allocation of the resources based on population. The former Council of Governors chairman said a devolution, he added, was meant to benefit people, not a creage, not anything else. It's meant to benefit, the people and the population. And the people who come from the sparsely populated areas are saying as much as we are few, but also we've been behind in terms of development. And there's something called Equalization Fund that we've been talking about here every day and saying, why are they not paying so much attention in the Equalization Fund and just create awareness and let Kenyans understand? For those who feel perhaps they're coming from counties that might lose, some of these monies. As it is, what the Constitution says, if anybody loses over 5%, that revenue sharing, bill, if any county loses more than 5% of what they had previously, then the other laws should be met in the allocation, in the equalization fund. But nobody really is paying much attention and shedding some light on this. So this is where, we'll actually equalize, Karen.
Yes, a lot of people are not concentrating, or they have brushed off the idea of equalization fund. But the truth is, like I said before, it will make these regions at par, because when it comes to development issues, then the equalization fund will cater for these areas. Now, this is what we need to do. We need to create awareness, like you just mentioned, Miriam. Let people understand that they are not losing here because of the equalization fund that will compensate what they think they are going to lose. So what we need to do here is make people understand why we have the equalization fund in place, Miriam.
Daniel, is equalization fund not enough to bridge the gap?
Yes, Miriam, I've always been very consistent in this topic of revenue allocation. And my preference is that revenue should be allocated in terms of one man, one vote, 1 shilling, and that is the best way you can be able to share our resources and make every Kenya feel that they benefit from the national cake. And of course, the Constitution talks about equality in revenue allocation, and also what Sakaja and his cronies forget to mention is also the important aspect of fairness. Fairness means that if a man in Kisumu cumulatively is receiving 20,000 per year, then that is the equal amount that a man in Isiolo should benefit also from the money that comes with the devolution. So that is an important factor that we are forgetting as a people. Number two, if we have to grow these counties to come to par with other counties, it doesn't take a similar. Maybe it would take us 5 years for Mandera to grow into the same capacity as Nairobi or maybe Eldoret or Kisumu or Mombasa. We have to do it sequentially. We have to do it progressively, and that brings me to the scenario in the Middle East, in the Southern Asia, where Vietnam, now after going through the war with the Americans, wanted to be at the same level as Malaysia, Singapore, and other Asian bigger economies. And when they called for to go and assess the situation and tell them on how they will be able to emulate their progressive neighbors and be able to come to power with them, from their side, they needed a quick fire. They needed to pump money into some key sectors. They wanted to identify commodities that would make them competitive. So what the economists told them is that this you have to take it progressively. First of all, to understand the needs of the people, you have to change the perception of your people from the perception of war, where majority of the leadership was military. You have to eliminate all these militants government and be able to bring in friends, bring in people with much experience, open up your economy. And that is what should happen with these counties that feel that they are marginalized. First of all, we have to set a very good precondition. We have to ensure that the leaders who are in those counties will not loot this money equalization fund that is brought there. And these leaders also, once elected in office, they have to identify the key sectors that this money will be directed into. So if you tell me that we just give them this money without doing the due diligence, without identifying the key economic movers, projects and plans, then perhaps we'll be throwing this money into a bottomless pit, and it will not benefit the common man. And that is why in northeastern Kenya and Turkana and Samburu, we've been having a very rampant cases of corruption in those counties. Leaders have been stealing public money to come to Nairobi to buy apartments, building 5-star hotels in their regions, and all that kind of stuff. So really, we understand that these counties have been left behind. But as Dr. Matsanga said, compensational politics are not the way, it's not the way forward for ensuring that they come to power with the rest of the country. Let us do it procedurally. Let us do it progressively. Let us do it with a lot of planning and with a lot of understanding. That is my point, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. And Professor, yesterday, I think one of the newspapers there that carried a story, was it Garissa County or Seoul? I think Garissa County, who the only testing machine the county had, I think had broken down. And so all the samples of COVID-19 in that county were being flown. The county had to hire a helicopter to be flying in the samples every day, and it was costing them a lot of money that was not even had been planned to be used in the county budget. So that has affected some of the monies that were supposed to be put aside for other things. But that also goes to show the level of, sometimes when they say they're marginalized in that effect, that is the only machine they had. And we understand after years of systematic marginalization, and since coming of devolution, we've seen a bit of development happening in these counties, and that's why I think a lot of them just want to hold on to the monies that were being given to those counties. But on the same token, as much as some might lose, but we have the equalization fund, and I think I've asked this question over and over and over and over. This is what should be the fund that will bridge the gap, that will ensure the developmental agenda that has started in some of these areas that had been marginalized since time immemorial will continue, will not stop, because now they'll have this more money. Now in the equalization fund, such areas will be allocated more money for the developmental purposes. Why are they not focusing on this? They're just focusing on the other side, and they're not talking much about how these counties will be compensated on the equalization fund.
Miriam, thank you for that question. And let me just be able to say that I'm not advertising myself. My first degree is on economics. One of my second degrees is on development studies. It is a fact, Miriam, that some parts of this country have been marginalized. And we have owned up. We have had the revenue formula. We have had the second one. The first and the second one, we made a mistake, Miriam. So the third one, and the problem with the people of this country, my countrymen, is that, Miriam, they don't read. Their memory is too short. They don't remember, and they want to do politics at all the time. So the third formula, Miriam, and I want this one to sink, there was a comprehensive review of the second formula with comparative analysis of financing transfer system from other countries. We don't live in an island. We must be able to do comparative studies. How is it happening elsewhere? You just don't do things just for the sake of doing it. We have got an opportunity to, so there was that comprehensive. There was extensive consultation with the national government, with the county government, because the constitution requires that we do consultation, we do public participation. From public finance experts, it is not the likes of Mukomen and Sakacha, public finance experts who are the authority, and the public were consulted. And we have made an endeavor. It is not those counties with high population which marginalize those areas. We have said, now let us do things like gentlemen and the women and ladies. Let us use the formula and the areas which have been marginalized by case and case basis. If they need a school, there is undertaking for the undertaking from the national government. It will fix a school. It will fix a road. It will fix hospitals. It will fix irrigation dams. Miriam, what's wrong with that? What we are only seeing at the moment is people think that Kenyans, we cannot remember. There was enough consultation done on this. About sin which has been done, that one, you know, I have been on record. And I don't know what we say that why people choose to ignore, but it is their right. It's not a matter what we say they take. We have said about COVID, one, it should be transferred to the national government because it is a national disaster. It is a global pandemic. It cannot be fixed by account with the small allocation it gets. So that is something which needs to be reported to the national government, and they will use contingent funds so that they help this county, so that it doesn't use the money which is meant to do other things. So Miriam, we have discussed much on this, and I want to be very honest. Article 216 of the Kenyan Constitution, it does not give me the mandate, neither Murkomen, either Sakaja. It gives to Commission of Revenue Allocation. And we must be able to respect the institutions we have put in place. And if they have gone overboard, that's what Dr. Masanga is saying, we can go to court for the courts to interpret when they have gone over their mandate. So I don't like this kind of politics, and we are spending a lot of energy to discuss things which are straightforward. What Miriam, let me tell you, only a fool can be able to see what's not happening. This is 222 politics being played around. The people want to interfere with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. They want to frustrate him. But Kenyans, we are watching. I don't see any, let me tell you for one, there is no way. Only another stupid, the way Masanga says, a governor who have been elected by the people of Nairobi, of people of Murkomen, you account they are gaining money, and you talk, you start talking that you want to be one Kenya. You are a fool, and you are blind. First and foremost, you represent the people. When he's going to come back to Nairobi, he will tell us that I was going to be one Kenya, one nation. No, we have cautioned whoever is saying that he's losing money, and we have said this one. We have created equalization funds. The money which is being lost from this other side, we are taking to equalization funds. So those areas with the populace, those areas which enjoy development since independence, they are not going to go to that funds. Why are the people not seeing that?
Okay. Prof, Doctor has raised a lot of issues. Professor Doctor has raised a lot of issues there. And the issue of Garissa, that machine that has broken, and the Prof has said, because COVID is a national disaster, so what the county should have done was contact the Ministry of Health or the national government and said, hey, we are unable to have a daily test for COVID-19, and so through the COVID, that fund that is there, that is supposed to be taking care of such. But they went ahead and they've been hiring a chopper every day there. So I'm hoping we'll not have a corruption scandal coming from that area. But also he talked about comparative analysis there. And now this revenue sharing, a formula has been turned into very dirty politics, has nothing to do with finding a solution that will move the country forward, but has been turned into a political point making, point scoring.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now you are talking. Someone has challenged me here, and you have seen him. I'm not going to quarrel with him, but I will say the truth, what I know. Professor has raised very cardinal issues that we must look at. But I have summarized what the professor has said. Today, I am prophetic. I'm bringing on the teacher. I'm becoming a teacher.
You're coming with charts.
Yes, chart.
Comparative analysis.
What is this? All those chapters we have read, 203, chapter 12, they come to this. You can talk, we talk, Sakaja will talk. Tomorrow, it's going to be stopped. Because the owner, the Constitution, those who love the Constitution, even if you pass the formula tomorrow, I swear it will be shot by Wamutata. because it has no public participation. You are wasting your time. The only formula that is going to come to appear there is the one that favors even the population. I've seen it.
That's true.
And then equalize the money. Let me ask you one thing. Why do you need an airport in Wajir when you use a donkey to go home? We opened an airport in Wajir, in Isiolo. How many people in Northeastern fly to Isiolo, then take their cars to Mandela? Answer me. How many? None. All of them are double cabin. In fact, the man of double cabin in his son has sold more double cabins. There is an aircraft standing at Wilson. Isiolo Airport is not used. We got a very good road. People transport the animals instead of bypassing the abattoir in Isiolo, delivering them in Nairobi. You have killed employment for the people of Isiolo, and you have killed employment for the people who would be eating the intestines. You see, those goats have very good intestines. When they are roasted, yeah. The people of Isiolo need that food. Now you have brought all the intestines to Nairobi. Why? Because you still think, even if the factory has been put here, it doesn't give you what you want. It's people's choice. How many governors are in Nairobi instead of being in Mandela? Go and look in the hotels. If something happened in the hotels in Nairobi over the weekend, do you know how many governors will be found here? Yet they are supposed to be where? Home. We have avoided one thing and one disease in this diagram that you see. The diagram is, and I want to talk. There is nothing like a huge money, small money, bad money, marginalized. The whole thing, it contains marginalization, money, corruption, population, land mass, politics, but it all originates from one thing. Can I say it?
Yes.
One man, one vote. Why do we have elections? Why? Why? If you go to the people of Mandela and they said there will be no elections next in 2022, will you hear them talk about the money? No, honestly, will you hear them talk about our money has been taken? They will talk about what? We want elections. They will come and even be on the lorry to join those in Nairobi who are demonstrating for elections. Am I wrong?
You're right.
So, if you have accepted one man, one vote, why do you want to give others a half a loaf? With Songa and Karen, when you grew up in Malindi and Busia, were you eating half loaf? Did your father bring half loaf? Mzee alienda kwa dukani saa hii, Karen, does Mzee, my colleague, does he bring half loaf?
No, he doesn't.
Ash, does he bring half loaf in the house?
No.
Your mother will close him outside the house. This man has become what? How can you go and fight and come with half a loaf? How many people go to Lake Victoria to fish and then they cut the ngege into two parts? or tilapia. They cut tilapia and leave it for Uganda because Mujingo Island is ours and the water is yours.
Don't start.
There's not go that
don't start.
You can see Miriam has changed quickly.
Oh yes. Don't start.
I am not the one who occupied Mujingo Island. It is Museveni who occupied it.
And the water is ours, the island.
The water is yours.
Yes.
But the island is his.
Apparently.
Or the island is Kenya, but the water around it is Uganda. And the guy is stuck there. You know that he is stuck there. These are some of the political difficulties, that you cannot move his ships. He's brought men. They are there. You can't create a war. What this revenue authority allocation is trying to push is a war. You are pushing a war. So the motion that I see going through is Orengo motion. Again, Orengo is bringing a motion tomorrow. Very nice.
Shed some light.
I'm very happy about the CIA. At times he harasses me, but I like it.
What is Orengo saying?
He's stopping it. Because he has realized, he has read the motion, he has read the Constitution. Article 203. You have no power. You have no power whatsoever. And I want to tell my brother, Speaker of the Senate, wewe unacheza na kazi, hii kazi watatoa. I have been defending you. You are my brother. But one of these days, I will also sleep. Just pretend to be sleeping and then come up when they have taken you away. You are my brother from my clan, across the bridge. Lusaka, you are my relative. Please, stop double standards here. Mulukomeni's motion was not supposed to come back because it was debated on. He can't raise on point of order. Then he move a motion, then which is adopted. Irregular. Irregular, 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 irregular. We allowed that to pass. Now, Senator Orengo is coming with a nice motion tomorrow. And all these senators who have been calling the governors in marginalized states will vanish away.
Daniel.
How much money they have made, I will tell you tomorrow.
Very well. Daniel, yes.
Yes, Miriam. And perhaps sometimes when we are talking about this revenue allocation, we need to bring it into a simplistic way, maybe illustration. Imagine that you have two children, and one is in the university, of course, and the other one is in a primary boarding school. As a parent, when you are giving out pocket money and all the other necessities, perhaps you have to make it very understandable. You cannot give the same amount of pocket money to this chap in primary school, boarding school, same amount of money, pocket money you are giving the other person in the university. Because you have to understand that these other one being at a higher level of education in the university and are being an adult, they have different priorities, they have different needs. And therefore, the one in the university will have to get the biggest share, the lion's share of the pocket money or whichever amount of resources that you are allocating, even in terms of fee. And this one in primary boarding school, you will have also to give him the fair share of pocket money, but it will be a much smaller amount than the one you're giving it your child in the college. So that comes to this scenario where you look at Nairobi County with a population of over 5 million, and you look at Wajir County with a population less than 500,000. So really, when you're allocating money in terms of development and even just giving people the basic necessities, you can never allocate the people of Nairobi the same amount of money as the amount of money you're allocating the people of Wajir County. So, and that is why the basis of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote comes in, to make sure that cumulatively, as far as you make sure that a man in Nairobi receives an equal share of money as a man in Wajir County. It means that if you do the calculation cumulatively, of course, Nairobi has to get a big amount of money, more than Wajir County, because of its population. So that is how Kenya should look at it. And essentially, Miriam, this is a question of politics against economics. And I can tell you for free, any country that plays politics ahead of economics, then that country is doomed to fail. And that is the scenario that we are facing as a country. We are having here a formula that has been recommended by financial experts, a formula that has been debated on through public participation, a formula that has been made through a consultation between the county government, the governors, and the national government, and a formula that needs the economic sense and threshold. And now here we are taking it to politicians to be able to decide its fate. It cannot hold, it cannot work that way. We have to first of all prioritize the economics before we can do the politics. So for Kenyans to benefit equally and for us to have a balanced development, then we have to do what Dr. Matsanga has said, that we don't need to allow the senators usurp the roles of the Commission for Revenue Allocation. Let them do their work. They have done the comparative analysis, and they found that this third formula is better than the first one and the second one, and it rectifies the mistakes, and therefore it serves the interest of every single Kenyans that goes to the ballot to cast their votes. That is my point, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. Karen, end it for us. Majority Leader there in Senate, Irungo Kangata, said he's hoping that the senators will come in there and have a sober conversation and a debate tomorrow before they vote for this bill. And we've seen this has turned into politics and has become its own, it has just turned into something, very political. And now, the different sides are using this very important thing for Kenyans to score political points. Are we likely to see any manner of soberness tomorrow in the Kenyan Senate?
Miriam, I really doubt if we are going to see that tomorrow, because we've had it like so many times, and that has been the issue. They meet, but they do not agree. So I also doubt whether tomorrow they will agree on this. However, I'm hoping that the majority will win. And I agree very well with Wesonga. He gave us a very simple example. We should take it from there. Now, another example here, Miriam, is imagine a man has 2 wives. One of the wives has 2 kids and the other one has 5. Now, if we are to allocate, we were to give the wives resources, obviously the one with 5 kids will have more. Why? We cannot say because the one with 2 kids has a bigger compound, just because of a compound, Miriam, will give this other wife more resources. So this thing is so simple. We're making it so we are politicizing it so much, and I doubt if tomorrow they're going to agree. I really doubt, Miriam.
They will not agree. I support you.
They won't.
They will not agree. Wesonga, Professor Miriam, we are moving a motion to close it. Kwicha.
Yes, and perhaps Miriam, on what Karen, the analogy that Karen has brought in of allocating resources to 2 wives that you have, of course, perhaps depending on the size of the home, someone might maybe say, okay, let's allocate more resources to this one who has maybe a bigger home, and perhaps this is land that is used for farming. But of course, if you have to allocate even more money to the one with a bigger home with a few children, then you have also to have an incentive for doing so. You just don't allocate when perhaps that land is an arid land that can never be used to cultivate anything or to keep any kind of animals that will bring something to the household. So it is also a question of incentives. If you are going to build a soft drink processing company in Mandera, what is incentive in Mandera? If you are going to build a railway from Nairobi to Garissa, what is the incentive that that railway will be bringing to the national economy? So that is the basis that we should look after. Otherwise, I think the formula that Sakaja and his cronies are trying to force down our throats does not hold, it's not tenable, and it's going to divide the country more.
All right, very well. And when it comes to that analogy there by Karen, I think when it comes to marriages, according to the Muslims who are allowed to marry, even in our African culture, but according to them, if you marry, you can marry up to 4 wives. So make sure they all have equal distribution, equal. It does not matter whether they have a child or not. It's supposed to be equal. If you can't afford that, then don't add more wives. It has to be equal.
Yes, but trust me, it cannot be equal.
Whether they have children and the other one has 10, it has to be equal.
Yes, that is okay. That is okay for one family.
Yes.
But when we are several families, some of us marry one wife.
Mm-hmm. She takes everything.
And produce 10 children.
Yes. Even the girls have to be given.
You want me to have less money?
Even the girls have to be given something.
Seven and produce only one. There is also a problem.
No,
Two, the people in the minority or marginalized counties, when you corner them on reasoning, they say we are going to look for pasture.
Mm-hmm. But last I checked, the people from northeastern province, they have a lot of, not province but area, they produce a lot of children. Last time I checked.
But they say they are going to look for pasture, so they counted us when we are not there. Why don't you listen to the government restrictions to sit there to be counted?
And Miriam, also it comes back to the point that I raised last week, that a majority of these people are counted here back in Nairobi, and they benefit from the services that are provided here by the county government of Nairobi. So in terms of devolution, they tend more to benefit from Nairobi than their counties. So I don't see the point of where they should feel that less money is going back to their counties, when they themselves they are benefiting money that was meant, the little money that was meant for the people in other counties, cosmopolitan counties. So no matter how much you talk about it, books could be written about this, no matter whichever way you chop it. The question of sharing resources as a country, 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, that one will be able to settle all the problems that we are having right now.
All right, very well, Professor.
And there is something that you have forgotten, which is going to not to work, Kesho. I think as elders of this country, people sat down and saw this thing is taking us nowhere. We have these things all lined up in BBI. Yes, revenue allocation. People express, why don't we throw the book to the people to decide? Let it come to Parliament and the bill is done. How much money do you want? Do you want money to be allocated on 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, not 1 man, 1 vote, half a loaf for Paranya's people, for Nyoro's people, for Bungoma, for Busia, upate half loaf. Kisii has agreed to lose for the sake of Nyamira to have more money, so that Nyamira can develop to catch up. That is already good enough. When you find that there's need in Nyamira or in Masabit, you will equalize the money, equalization fund, borrow some money, increase it by percentage. Wagawie, watafute borehole, but don't send money to the governors who are used for stealing, for building houses in Karen and Arunda. No.
Yes, and Doctor, you brought up the BBI, and actually that was part of the points there, and on chapter 9, that is the devolution on the BBI. I have the BBI report. This is one that was the government had run on February 19th, and one of the leading newspapers here. So I usually keep a copy with me here on the desk. And on chapter 9, devolution, it says, point number 3, that when point number 2, increase resources to the counties by at least 35% of the last audited accounts. And then point number 3, when dividing revenue between counties, use a formula that focuses on ensuring services reach the actual settlements of people so that resources are not allocated on the basis of uninhabited land mass. So this was part of the proposals that Kenyans gave to the BBI team, actually. That, yes.
You cannot just, my friend, you give money to what? Land mass, my food. Land mass, does land eat money? Does land buy fertilizers? It's a human being who goes to buy fertilizer, is it? You tell me which land says, I need fertilizer. Then the fertilizer comes. No, there's a human being going to buy fertilizer from the Owino shop. Then you go and put in the garden. All of us are living souls, including plants, but there is a master who is the owner of those who control those living souls. That's why you go to Mara for animal seeing, but animals don't come to see you.
They'll eat you. So now, Doctor, there's something here that perhaps the conversation that we should be having, part of this, the chapter 9, it's a good thing that I'm even referring to this. Now, because Kenya is a hybrid, our constitution is hybrid, with borrowed heavily from the US and the UK. And we've seen the states in the US, they're able to, get their own revenue. They're able to be, sustenance. They don't rely so much from the federal government, that it will be the national government here, but they're able to take care of themselves because they're able to raise revenue, they're able to run their own, their own states. But in our case, these are counties. And in number 12 of that, and perhaps Prof, you will respond to this, counties also must grow the economic pie. Counties should be guided by a greater focus on being competitive in attracting their residents to more entrepreneurial and for investment from other parts of the country and abroad to flow into the county. So what you're seeing is our counties are more focused on the national pie, and they are not really focusing on how they can better even their own revenue, collection in their own counties. And we don't see any. I don't know if there's anybody who ensures there's accountability on the revenue that is being collected from our counties, because that, as if that does not exist. So they're more focused on the national pie. Professor, so what is the essence of devolution then? Because they should be able to generating some revenue there.
Miriam, I've said before, and I want to repeat again, that Kenya is a unitary state. We are one. And we came out with the counties so that we can be able to take services closer to the people. Some of the decisions which will be ages to be done here in Nairobi, we said now, the people of this particular county, you can be able to make your own decisions. Some of the governors, for the 10 years now we are going to conclude, there are some whom we can say that they wasted and pondered their time, and there are some counties which have gotten right and they are moving forward. Let me use Professor Kivuta, the governor from Makueni. You used to see a lot of mangoes coming to Nairobi during the mango season. Do you see them these days? It means the mangoes, they came with a factory. The people can harvest their mangoes. They can make more juice. Is adding value. Makueni is one of the counties you can just go down there. You will find that they produce there enough milk.
Infotrack has just told us it's one of the happiest counties in the country. So that could be the reason why.
Fine. I want to tell you because I have seen. So governors who will think without the box. People say that they need to think outside the box. Governors who are smart enough and who want to take their counties forward to offer service to their people, they will go far. You have heard Dr. Masanga saying governor again. Some of these governors are coming here to Nairobi. They spend 4 days in a week in Nairobi. They are buying houses, they are buying apartments in Nairobi. When are they going to develop their counties and collect more revenue? If the governors are very serious, they can be able to change their counties. And if you improve the standards of the living, people will do business, you will invite investors who will have licenses to do their businesses, and that's how you help your people. You market your county. But are they doing so? And even the current money which they are trying to do, they correct money, of course, and they take it to the central bank, but they don't declare some of the monies which they correct. Some of the money they correct goes to corruption. Corruption is key here. Let me tell you, Miriam, we have got a lot of money in this country. Remember, our budget is the budget which runs Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, and Southern Sudan. That is how huge our budget is. But what some of our governors are saying, the one which comes from the national government, they want to divide and they want to misuse it. So these small governors who thought that they are mini president, they are not. They are elected to go and serve their people and have technocrats to advise them how they take their counties forward. Remember, they were trying to come with economic blocks. That's how they were to take their counties forward and be able to do business among the counties. But some of them, very unfortunate. For the 10 years, we have wasted, we have had millionaire governors, and they are the ones who are causing this confusion. What Dr. Masanga is telling you, don't ignore. They are the ones who are financing these senators.
Yes, especially the ones.
It has got nothing to do. People know that if the money is going to be cut, what are they going to steal? The money which is being fought for is not offering services to the people.
Very well.
Cost-band stigma.
Cost-band stigma, Karen.
Yes, Miriam.
So the governors are the puppeteers here. They're the ones pulling the strings because they're the ones who are in control of the county monies. What do you make of that?
Well, it's very. I support Professor Jared and Dr. Matsanga. They're very correct, and that's why it needs to be moved to the national government, because if care is not taken, then they will buy the whole Kenya themselves.
All right. So, Doctor, as we end, this very huge printout here, Governor Sonko, did you spend my money as a taxpayer to print this thing here today? But one of the things that he's showing, I'm just asking as a concerned Nairobian, because this must have costed a lot of money. One of the things that he's saying is done here, I'm seeing him showing a beautification exercise, one of the roads there in the Uhuru Highway there in the country. But what really caught my attention up here when he's introducing what he has done, he's saying when he came into office, there was Nairobi was complicated by insecurities. There was the menace of hawkers in the central business district, and the city was further crippled by failing services, including hospitals without medicine and equipment, burst sewers, and mountains of toxic and uncollected garbage in our streets. From what I know, and as a Nairobian who is almost in the I live close to the CBD, almost there every day, I know that hawkers are still there. That has not been solved, but according to Governor Sonko, that is a problem and a menace that he already has solved. I don't know, Daniel.
Yes, Sonko is a very funny character. And yesterday I happened to read one of my friends had written about a folklore in Ukambani of a trouser called Mbavi. So this trouser was just a communal trouser press somewhere where anyone who woke up early could put it on. And that is what Mike Sonko had made Nairobi to become. Somewhere where anyone could do anything. Hawkers could just wake up one day and come at the heart of the CPD and start selling their clothes, second-hand clothes from Gikomba and all the parts of the town. So there was some state of anarchy before the NMS came to take up the administrative function of the county, the key administrative functions. So one thing Sonko has to know that is today he doesn't have such powers because he was given a whole 2 years, but they came out to be barren. He was given the mandate to show leadership in the county, but what he gave out was anarchy, impunity, and a lot of side shows without any tangible progress that was witnessed. That is what prompted the president to step in and bring NMS. So really, even wasting our money, taxpayers' money, to print such what he calls milestones to show us when we cannot visibly see any project that he maybe he brainchild in the county, then I think those are just mere sideshows, and Nairobians should not take him seriously. Let us focus on what Major General Abdallah Mohamed Badi is doing with his team. They are doing a very incredible job. The pavements, the water supply, the cleaning up of the city, very good job is being done, and that is what Nairobians should focus on. Otherwise, Sonko can be left to do his drama on social media, print whatever he wants to print, but whatever we know is that Nairobi right now under Nairobi Metropolitan Service is escalating high. It's achieving milestones, and we really thank the president for that. Let Mohamed Badi and his team work.
Doctor, do you think this printout was necessitated by the visitor here, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the general made to inspect, the few projects that have been happening across Nairobi and the CBD the other day? I have not seen the footage or something like that, but there has been some rumors that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Badi were, physically and in person, the president himself, inspecting some of these things that have been happening. And also, can we just talk about how lately President Uhuru Kenyatta has been hands-on with the developmental agenda, not just here in Nairobi, but across the country, because he realized he had left that responsibility to some other players. It didn't turn out too well for him. So this printout, is it because of, the inspection that the president is said to have done the other day, and to see how much Nairobi is being developed?
Miriam, thank you very much. I want to tell you frankly, you see, my late uncle was very checking on me every time to make sure I do very well at school. He could pass by Manjasa High School to drop loaves, to buy me. I like Mugati, this tip top. I used to like Mugati called tip top very much. And when you're a student, those tip top kept in your drawer. I used to be the chairman of the school council. I think that's why this guy took me out of Bishop Tucker College, because one day he came with his Citroen car. He was the only one who had a Citroen car, and they parked in the car park. All the students came to see a car. When the Citroen wakes up to go on the drive, first you have to wake it up, then it can go. That's the only thing the French have brains for. The rest I don't know. But Miriam, is one thing going to school, another thing being a fool. And being a fool, if you have gone through going to school and going through school, you see, you walk through the classroom without reading. You are harassed by those who have brains. They can even come and tell you, we can draw the picture of your wife, how he cooks, how he does this, and agree. They can tell you that your wife yesterday, whenever he goes to the swimming, there is someone that comes through the underground swimming hall, and she goes in, then come back. Miriam, listen to this explanation. I'm telling you. Going to school and reading is very good. I'm bringing it to the picture you have just shown us. Idi Amin killed one of his wives because one of the people in special branch, in special state research bureau, state SRB, it was called State Research Bureau, said, sir, every time Madame goes to swim, she disappears under the water for so many minutes. So we have discovered there is a hole where she goes first, then comes back. Have you seen going to school is very good? One day, Idi Amin came to the swimming pool in Entebbe, Lake Victoria Hotel. There was a hotel there called Lake Victoria Hotel. The swimming pool, you know, with the blue water. They let Mama when she's first lady is swimming, nobody is supposed to swim. Woo! The lady goes down and did this down movement. I mean, it did not wait or did not go near to know that Madame was still swimming from underwater. He left annoyed, concluding that what the special research bureau, state research bureau, SRB, told him is correct. When the wife came back from the swimming pool, I mean, did not want, she was one of the most beautiful ladies. I mean, did not want even to talk to her. Killed her. He killed the wife. The story is true. So, people who are misleading Mr. Sonko are the spokesman called Mulwa. And what does Mulwa want? Wants money. He's a broke man who is asking for lunch money. So if you give him a job to become a spokesman, he was asking for money from me. Give me some money. Unamupatia kazi. He's a friend of one of my people there. I don't want to say more than that. Mulwa is pushing Sonko that we can. You can see Mulwa when he's talking on TV. He also wants to attack President Uhuru Kenyatta. But if we are going to attack him, he might not survive. We might not survive. So, if you have not gone to school, you are told we can even. Didn't you see what Waititu was saying? Waititu was saying that change the river to go up. If we had a governor who had gone to school, can he change the river? So, Sonko did not go to school. He passed through. He's a head prefect of Timothy Malewa or something. Timothy Malewa. He's not fit to be a leader. So what we do is, my friend, it is President Uhuru Kenyatta who created the Sonko by bringing him, saving the MCs wanted to blow him out.
Doctor, so if President Uhuru Kenyatta created him, so President Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to solve the problem now. What are you saying?
So the president has saved him, is solving the problem. He should keep quiet. President Uhuru Kenyatta mwenyewe saved Sonko. The MCs wanted, in fact, Sonko would be home. So here we are.
Professor.
There's something.
Yes. Yes.
There's something that I want to tell you, Miriam, and you love this. I wrote it, and I am going to publish it. In 1985, Dasuki arrested Buhari. In 2016, Buhari came to power and arrested Dasuki. Then in 1995, there was a gentleman, a general called Mustafa, arrested Obasanjo on the orders of General Abacha. In 1999, Obasanjo came back and also arrested Al Mustafa. In 2005, Diego Semeo was under Fernando Torres. Torres was the club captain. Despite being far younger than Semeo, but he did what Torres ordered. Now see what is happening. Today, those who know football, you know what Torres now takes orders from Semeo. So, in 1982, we called him a rebel leader, Takatad. 35 years down the road, we are zero. We can't bury our people. What does that tell you? Tears. You can't bury your father. You can't bury your uncles. So, mark this world. This world, don't underrate Miriam. Let Miriam not underrate Karen. Let Karen not underrate Wesonga. Yes, Wesonga, not underrate Professor. You might meet me again. The people who killed, who raped our women, when we were overthrown, they found us in Nairobi. And we took them, I personally took the man who had looked for my property to register as a refugee at Canoni House. You remember Canoni House on Silas Avenue? There was a refugee, I think, Professor, you remember, there was a refugee, United Nations office there. He was panicking. He thought that I was now, this is a man who came and said, where is Matsanga's briefcase? Where is my name? He put my wife out, stepped on them, on the children had left home. I told him, Captain Ogwang, don't worry. You are now Lieutenant Colonel Ogwang. I will take you to register. And I gave him the first meal. The guy looked at me and said, I'm sorry, brother, I did a very bad thing. And if possible, there is some money that I have left home. Now he has stolen, you know, this is the money he stole, and he has also been thrown out. He's left that same money that we can share to compensate you. I said, don't worry. If it is there, look now, I've got you the ID, the UN ID. Brother, live well. When my late wife Esther had this, she went berserk. I told her, no, please. Mama, I don't know where I'm going to be. This life is very difficult. It was a couple of days after 2 months, the late President Moi ordered us to live in a cargo plane. We are dumped like a magunia. You know how you put flowers in a cargo plane? Even with our president like that, go. But here we are today. That's why I ended this story today on that note, that respect each other. All of us have got one word. Miriam has something. Daniel, Professor has something, and Karen has something. You will live longer. I've lived longer. I'm 65, coming to October this year. In 2 months' time, the birthday will be Krakamoto, but I don't celebrate birthday. Miriam told me not to celebrate too much. I hope this time she will buy me a present that befits the day. I always love the present from her, but she has, I don't know, all the time. So this year I will make 65 years because I've lived. My uncle who mentored me has gone, but he has lived. He had lived up to 90. He was 2 years. He was born in 1930, and my father was born in 1928. They are 2 years apart. I don't know how many, calculation of mathematics that is. How many years are those? 90, isn't it? 1930 and 2020. How many years?
90.
Is it 90? Yeah, about there. He's gone, but he has been watching every step. Even when he was on the bed, he said, how is he? Even when I went to Kampala for the first time in 2008, Miriam, he said, stay in the hotel. He was, don't go out of the hotel. That everybody who wants to come to see you there. And don't eat any food. Drink the water that you brought on the plane. Why? Had I eaten food, you know that you have gone to a hollow floor was given to you. Relax, let her be here. I would not be here. That uncle has been instrumental. But always respect each other. That's why this country needs you. You are the younger generation. It's up to you. Listen to what? Look, go to school. Take your children to school. Don't be insulted like a song. Everybody is insulting this guy. Look at the analysis Miriam has brought. It is very shameful. Very shameful. Who wants his money? Mr. Murwa. He's the so-called spokesman now. Let's do a paper. You know how much the money they have done to do that publication? That should be 10 million. I'm telling you. Published for how many pages has that? Yeah, should be 4 pages, side by side. That's about 10 million. Go and look at, he has access to signing those checks. He has access. And they have taken money out of that. Huge money. If you go to that budget, advertising nonsense. So thank you very much. We have a topic which is coming. I wish, before Miriam concludes, I wish our viewers, our viewers can see the topic coming, a very big lecture coming at 3 p.m. The format will change. Each one will have his notes and make his own presentation. And then later on, we exchange and see who made which and where. Don't worry, the topic can be brought on the scene. Thank you very much, Miriam. From me, the political command center, miles away from you, I hand back the baton to you.
All right.
To dismiss us for lunch.
All right, yes, and I think we all had, because of the interest of time, I think we shall end the show there. Thank you so much,
And
Professor.
continue with the state of the nation tomorrow. That is our topic this week. We have not touched succession politics.
Yes.
We have not touched the economy.
We will do that.
I think tomorrow the topic is already done. The economy and the succession politics, the state of the nation. Then we look at that, so that I think we shall be giving topics in advance so that the professor and other people prepare. Isn't it fair?
Well.
Yeah. Okay, Doc.
Tomorrow is the state of succession, politics, and economy. Wednesday is the state of COVID-19. Ndio tuone pesa zilienda wapi.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor there. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you, Karen from Malindi. We shall see you back here at around 3 p.m. East Africa time. Please make a date with us. My name is Miriam Ogutu. A very good afternoon to you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.